Hello and welcome to Calls. This is the 2022 President's Cup Captain's Rosters show. Going to be a very laid-back show. We're going to have some fun. Pretend we are Davis Love and Trevor Immelman and figure out how we would put our lineups out in order to win the President's Cup. But first, a few reminders. First off being that next week for the Sanderson Farms, we will be back on a regular schedule, meaning Sunday initial research, Monday data dive, and Wednesday DFS Tactics shows. All of those times listed are 9 p.m. Eastern. Also, if you see me glancing down from the camera, don't mind me. I am looking at my pseudo teleprompter. It's just notepad with a few notes on it, so don't mind me if I look away for a second. But no statistics tonight. But I would be remiss if I did not tell you to go check out fantasynational.com. There are a lot of great tools out there for golf content, golf statistics, anything like that. I simply believe Fantasy National is the best. It's going to make you a much smarter gambler and a much better DFS player. It allows me to do what I do. So go check them out. You will not regret it. In the description to the video, there are links to all of my social media, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and my Discord server. Most of the time, again, starting next week, since we'll be back on a regular schedule, I post research throughout the week on Twitter and Instagram regarding past winners of the tournament and or course information, things like that. So give me a follow if you want to see some of that research. Wednesday nights or the night before the tournament, I post my betting cards to Twitter. I did not fill out any betting card this week. No outright wagers for the President's Cup for me. I am solely focused on DFS, but if you want to see my betting cards every week, give me a follow at Twitter. Reminder also that I am live on Twitch every morning. Tomorrow might be an exception because I know I'm going to be up late tonight, finalizing my DFS rosters and all that stuff. So tomorrow might be an exception, but generally speaking, I am live on Twitch every morning, starting between 10 and 11. Kind of depends on when my sleep schedule decides that I wake up. But on Twitch, it's kind of a myriad of different things. I do research for the golf content. I play a little DFS baseball. I also go back the week prior and analyze and critique my performance from the week before. So earlier this week, I went and critiqued the Fortinet from last week, the mixed condition model and all that stuff. So give me a follow at Twitch and you won't miss the notifications when I go live. I hope to see you there in the mornings. And then we're live, chat's open. Again, I really do want a lot of interaction tonight. It's supposed to be a fun show. If you're the captain, how are you filling out your rosters and pairing your players together? What strategy are you implementing? Are you trying to avoid a certain matchup per se? So jump in, chat. Let's have a lot of fun. See where you and I differ, or maybe we agree. Or if you just want to laugh at my picks, that's well worthwhile as well. So this is where we would normally go to the beginning of the show, but I want to put some things forth from the beginning. That way we try to minimize the questions regarding this subject or these subjects. So how I went through this process. I started today, earlier this morning. Yes, the pairings are out for tomorrow. I know that. So when I reveal the pairings that I put together, you don't need to tell me that I have it wrong or whatever like that. I also need to tell you that you just have to take my word for it that I did not have any knowledge of the pairings when I did this. And I have to put that forward because it seems like Davis Love and I are on the same wavelength on a lot of stuff, at least for tomorrow's foursomes matches. So again, this was just how I would put it together if I were the captain. And all you can do is take me at my word for it, but I did match Davis Love quite a bit. I did not get much of the internationals correct, so hopefully you will believe me once you see that. With a couple of exceptions, obvious exceptions, Cantlay, Schauffele, Thomas Spieth, I tried to mix and match guys to not give them the same partner throughout the tournament, and that generally doesn't happen. If a team gets hot, like Morikawa and Dustin Johnson did the Ryder Cup, if a team gets hot, they generally stick together, and that's probably the best strategy, especially if you're going to ride a hot hand. But for this purpose, I just tried to kind of mix and match guys to give you and give myself an idea of who might play together, who might fit together in these different formats. So just be aware of that I was very conscious of mixing and matching guys, with the exception of a couple of obvious pairings. And I also made sure every single player got one session of rest. Again, I truly believe that there will be a few players that play all 5 sessions, and they probably should. But if I'm the captain, I would make sure guys got some rest to be fresh for every single one of their sessions, all that kind of stuff. So again, Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, there's a very good chance that they'll play all 5 sessions, all this and that. I'm just giving everybody one session of rest, and I'll go through my reasoning, the statistics and the analysis of when I'm sitting guys, why I'm sitting them, who I'm pairing them with, and all that stuff. So gonna be a fun show. Hope to see you in chat, but let's get into it. Let's figure out our rosters if we were the captains for the President's Cup. And we will start over here at Microsoft Excel, and this is where we're going to spend the majority, if not all, of our time in Microsoft Excel tonight. Now, I do have a little bit of data we can go back and look and see. I also have my mixed condition models from last night's show, and I can give you a little bit of reasoning behind why I put players together and all that kind of stuff. But again, just a more relaxed show, more fun, something to have a good laugh at, see how much you and I are similar, how similar I am to Davis Love and Trevor Immelman, things of that nature. All right, so I'm going to go through the U.S. first in the majority of the cases because they were pretty easy to nail down, or at least the way I wanted to pair them together. So, to start off the President's Cup, we're heavy favorites. There is no reason why we should allow the internationals any belief that they can compete in this. We're on our home turf. We have the #1 player in the world. We have the best team in the world. Let's go out there and make that statement. So for the U.S., I put forth the best team that I can think of in team golf. Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. I think they're the best duo America's had in a long time. Maybe an international team. I know there's going to be some pushback on that in terms of older Ryder Cup teams and whatnot, but at least in my lifetime, Cantlay and Schauffele seems like it's one of the best duos there is. So I'm going to tell Trevor Immelman, I'm putting my best team out there. Beat them. Because I don't think you can. I don't think you can beat Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. So go ahead and try. From the internationals' standpoint, they are very, very young. Very, very inexperienced. I do like what the internationals are doing with their players. They're bringing in these very young guys, very green, very new. Of course, they got hurt by the live defections, Cam Smith, Joaquin Niemann, etc., etc. But you're bringing in players who are going to get some valuable experience moving forward in International Cup contests. And the Internationals are always going to have an inherent disadvantage because of the language barriers. There are just some language barriers. So if I'm Trevor Immelman, if I'm the captain of the Internationals, I'm sitting here going, we got a free ride. We aren't expected to win. We aren't really expected to compete. Let's get some of these guys a lot of experience. We're going to take our lumps this President's Cup, maybe even the next President's Cup. But these guys are going to gain some valuable experience. They're going to get their losses, take their lumps, and they'll be ready to compete in a few years. Having said that, I don't want to just get rolled over. So I'm going to put the two Aussies out first. I'm going to put Adam Scott with Cam Davis. Adam Scott, his best format has been foursomes, has been alternate shot. Cam Davis and Adam Scott's game actually align pretty well, and I want that stabilizing force. I want with the adrenaline, the party that the opening tee shots are going to be. I want somebody who has been there, who is not going to get rattled, and I could really do with somebody that, one, matches his game, and two, perhaps put him with a rookie to, get them settled in, because their nerves are going to be through the roof. There's a good chance, well, at least if I were teeing off, I would shank one, but they're going to be nervous, and having that stabilizing force, Adam Scott, who has played in every single President's Cup going back to 2005, I really like the idea of that. Pairing him with his countrymen, their games are similar. Yes, Davis hits it longer, but Adam Scott doesn't get enough credit for how long he is. I think that's a very good pairing, and I put them out first again for Adam Scott's calming presence. So after the hoopla of the opening tee, the adrenaline is still high. And out second, I am sending Burns and Horschel. They played very, very well at the Zurich this year. They shot -8 in the 2 rounds of alternate shot. They went 68-68 there. That is unbelievably good. So I would have put Burns and Horschel out. They are they're very comfortable with each other. They've played with each other. They've been very good at alternate shot together. And again, Billy Horschel is going to feed off that adrenaline, that initial rush right off the bat. So I'm going to put Horschel with his partner second. And then for the Internationals, I'm going to send out the law firm of Kim and Kim. I'm going to go with Siwoo and Tom Kim. Tom Kim, arguably one of the hottest players going right now. Yes, Max Homa won the tournament last week at the Fortinet, but you look at the end of the PGA Tour season Tom Kim was on. He wins the Wyndham. He played well in the majors. He's been playing some really, really, really good golf. And as I mentioned with the language barriers, especially in alternate shot, the Koreans are pretty much on an island. The 4 Koreans are probably going to have to stay together. That way there's no real language barrier or language mishap, I guess. Best ball is a little bit different. Like, you can just kind of play your own game and let your partner do their thing. You do your own thing. There's not as much of a need for communication. Now, having said that, I know Tom Kim's not playing with Siwoo and all that stuff, but I would be very uncomfortable putting language, adding a language barrier to an already stressful situation. So I would send out the law firm of Kim and Kim second. Match 3, I've got Colin Morkalla and Cameron Young. And I actually ended up picking this one correct. Morikawa played extremely well at the Ryder Cup. He played alternate shot very well with Dustin Johnson. Hey P, how you doing? Glad you could check in. You'll have to go back and check the intro. You just have to take my word for it that I did not have any knowledge when I put these together. As you can see, I haven't changed Burns and Horschel, and I sent them out second, but Davis Love and I are on the same wavelength a lot for tomorrow, as you'll see. But as you mentioned last night, you got to send the big boys out first. So I actually matched Davis Love exactly in terms of Cantlay and Schauffele. And then going back to Morikawa, he played extremely well with DJ, and DJ kind of had that plodding demeanor. Sure, he hit the ball far, but DJ never really got rattled. He never let the emotions get to him, and I see a lot of that in Cameron Young. So I put Morikawa and Young together more for Morikawa's sake, to have that comfort of seemingly the same kind of demeanor from his partner. And Cameron Young fits the DJ profile quite well too. He hits a mile off the tee. Cameron Young's irons are really darn good. So if you're going to give Cameron Young or give Morikawa the length that Cameron Young has, and yet Cameron Young's not going to be a detriment to Colin Morkalla, I think it's a very good match. Davis Love agreed. So I really liked the idea of Colin Morkalla and Cameron Young in an alternate shot format. For the internationals, 2 rookies, and that's going to be a very big theme. There's only been 4 players that have even played in the President's Cup, and 2 of those players have only played in 1. Bezuidenhout and Pendrith. I think Bezuidenhout's best format is alternate shot. He is a short game player. He's a scrambler. He is not going to allow his partner to take them out of the hole. If his partner hits one in the sand, Bezuidenhout's a very good sand player. He's very good with those wedges. Bezuidenhout can putt. And I'm pairing Bezuidenhout with Taylor Pendrith. Kind of the same idea with Morikawa and Young. You give Bezuidenhout the length off the tee, Bezuidenhout's going to be just fine. You give Pendrith a guy that can putt, the short game, it seems like a very good match, and there's also not that language barrier there. I know they can at least both speak English. So that was my idea for the third match on Thursday foursomes. We get to close to the close of the session, and as the Americans, you're thinking, all right, I've put my best team out there, Cantlay and Schauffele. I don't think the internationals can beat them. I've put arguably my best alternate shot team out there in Burns and Horschel, going by just the Zurich Classic. But these 2 played alternate shot extremely well. I've got Morikawa and Young, the 2 calming influences. Morikawa has the Ryder Cup experience, so he's not a rookie here. He's going to be able to help Cameron Young, all that stuff. So group 4, I'm sending out. I'm thinking, if I'm Davis Love, I got the 2 hottest golfers in the world. No disrespect to Tom Kim. I've got the 2 hottest golfers in the world. I've got the guy who won last week, and I've got the guy who set the PGA Tour on fire the last half of the PGA Tour season. I'm going to put them together. Tony Finau and Max Homa, their games align. Again, it's just riding the hot hand. Finau's been putting. Homa's solid putting. They both, hit it far enough. Like, Finau's obviously longer than Homa. The issue has been Homa has not been as good with the irons as you would think, but still, he's not going to be enough of a detriment to Tony Finau. And I don't think Finau's going. I think Finau and Homa are just going to feed well off each other. I just think that's a pretty good pairing. And I think this is the way it's set up tomorrow. Yeah, Finau and Homa. So that's 3 of the 4 I've essentially got right in terms of pairings. Not in order, but at least in terms of the pairings. For the internationals, I've sent out Siwoo and Tom Kim. As much as Tom Kim is really good, has been hot, he's still a rookie. I've sent Cam Davis out. He's a rookie. Bezuidenhout and Pendrith, both rookies. I need some kind of stabilizing presence behind Adam Scott. Alternate shot is Hideki's absolute worst format. But again, I set everybody just one session. So Hideki had to play one session of alternate shot, just like Scotty Sheffler had to play one session of alternate shot. Those are not their best formats. But if I'm going to use Hideki, I'm going to put him in a position where he can calm the team or stabilize the team. Him and Corey Connors' game match up pretty well, and yes, there's going to be that language barrier, but Hideki's going to have a language barrier with anybody. He does not have a fellow Japanese player on the team, so he's on an island by himself. I think his and Corey Connors' game line up well enough that they're going to work well off each other. They're both hitting fairways. Now, the issue with this team would be putting. Hideki can get ice cold. Corey Connors can miss his putts with the best of them. But their iron play is always very, very good. They hit enough fairways. They're long enough. I think this would be a very solid international four-sums team, And then to round out the day, I know Davis Love actually put them second. I'd have put them fifth. I'd have bookended them. Cantlay and Schauffele is my best team. I'm going to send them out first. And I'm going to end the day putting my foot on your throat. I'm going to put Thomas and Spieth out there last. And I'm going to secure 2 points. One at the beginning of the day, one at the end of the day. I'm going to end the day with such a convincing win, at least that's the thought process, that you're going to just be disheartened the rest of the tournament. So I'll put Spieth and Thomas out. Again, I don't want to take too much credit. These two groupings were basically guaranteed. The fact that I put Cantlay and Schauffele first and matched Davis Love, I'll give myself that credit for putting them first. Then Davis Love put Spieth and Thomas second. But that is my strategy. I'm going to bookend the day. Start the day and end the day with my two best teams. So sending out Spieth and Thomas. For the internationals, again, I sat everybody at least one session. But if I were a gambling man, and I don't know why you would think that I'm a gambling man, but if I were one, I'd be willing to wager a decent amount of money that Sung Jae is going to play all 5 sessions for the internationals. So if it's day one, the internationals, yes, they don't have anything to lose, but they're still trying to compete and win. I think Sung Jae is probably their best player. You do not go into the first day without playing your best player. So I'm gonna put Sung Jae out there. I'm gonna pair him up with his countryman KH Lee, again for the language or the non, how am I trying to say it? There's not a language barrier there, so they can communicate, which is so important on alternate shot. Is it the best team? Probably not, but I would much rather have those two be comfortable and be able to talk as opposed to put the skill sets perfectly aligned. And I think they align enough. KH Lee's best format's going to be alternate shot. I have a strong feeling about that. And then Sung Jae's just good at everything because Sung Jae's Sung Jae. Anyway, so that is how I am putting out my teams on Thursday alternate shot, Thursday foursomes. So I'll highlight what I've got semi-correct. Like that's actually full-on correct, first and the team. I did nail down that one. I nailed down this one. And I nailed down this one. However, it is not in the right order. But I got those correct. And that was a gimme, but I still got it correct. Finau and Homa, Morikawa and Young. Now Burns is playing with Sheffler tomorrow, which I had heard about, that those two were playing some of their practice rounds together. But again, my thought process was these two played the Zurich. They played alternate shot extremely well this year at the Zurich. I was going to put them together. Connors and M are together. Scott and Matsuyama are together going against Cantlay and Schauffele. That's an interesting first matchup. The Zadenhout is sitting. Is Siwoo Is he move sitting? No, he's paired with Cam Davis. And then Tom Kim is with KH Lee, so he's keeping those Koreans together. Then you got Taylor Pendrith and Mito, who I didn't put in the first session. So I didn't really get anything right on the internationals, and that's probably going to be a theme. But anyway, so there's my Thursday afternoon alternate shot foursomes. We move to Friday morning, and as we move through the days, I'm going to assume, and it's dangerous to assume, but I'm going to assume things are tied up. That way, it's I'm trying to win that session that day for the tournament. So just know that going in. Do I think? Well, I'll have my predictions at the end of the show, but do I think it's going to be tied? No, I don't. Anyway, starting off Friday morning, best ball, 4-ball. I've got the number one player in the world. His best format is best ball. He played well with Bryson at the Ryder Cup in best ball, and Scheffler was the quote safe player. DeChambeau could just let it rip, and if he took double bogey, so be it. Scotty Sheffler was going to get a par and not take them out of the hole. I've got the number one player in the world. He didn't play in the first session. You better believe I'm going to come out punching you again. So I'm going to put Scotty Sheffler together, and this is where I put him with Sam Burns. I put him with 4-ball. Davis Love puts him in 4-sums, but again, a little bit of speculation. I had heard that they were playing practice rounds together, so a little bit of a hedge, I guess, on my part. But I had put Burns and Scheffler together in 4-ball. Scheffler is good enough that while I don't think Burns is obviously he's here for a reason, he's very good, but Burns can get wayward off the tee. He can. So I think Scheffler is good enough, calm enough. He will just stabilize on that hole if Burns gets wayward. And we're on Bermuda Greens, and specifically fast Bermuda Greens. Burns loves fast Bermuda Greens. Don't be surprised if he starts rolling the rock this week. He loves fast Bermuda Greens. His wins, Sanderson Farms, those are lightning Bermuda Greens. The Valspar, fast Bermuda Greens. They might even be lightning. Yeah, I think they're fast, but still, he loves fast Bermuda Greens. He's going to roll it well this week, I think. For the internationals, again, I've got two players that didn't play yesterday. I've got Sebastian Munoz and Mito Pereira. I don't want them to sit around and think that I'm trying to hide them. So I'm going to send out Sebastian Munoz right off the bat, say, you know what, I just didn't find a way to fit you into the lineup yesterday. I'm sending you out first. I have confidence in you. Go. And you're going to go with Cam Davis, who got his feet wet. Hopefully Adam Scott calmed him down a little bit because Cam Davis has the game. He's long enough for this course. He can putt well. Davis has the game for this. It's a matter of getting acclimated to international competitions, team competitions. So I'm going to put Davis, hopefully having gotten his feet wet, can, walk Munoz through it his first round a little bit. And their games are okay. Munoz is more of the bogey avoider, which allows Cam Davis to do what he does best, which is go and try to make birdies in bunches. Cam Davis generally takes advantage of easy courses. Think of his win at the Rocket Mortgage, easy course. But he's at his best when he can attack. Sebastian Munoz is at his best on a tough course trying to, just par his way through it. So I think that's a very good team there in terms of 4-ball. Second match out. Again, I've got the best team out there. I'm going to throw them out there, Cantlay and Schauffele. I didn't throw him out there first because I wanted Scotty Sheffler to get out there. He's the number one player in the world. I didn't play him in alternate shot the day before. I'm going to let him go. He's the number one player. Just like this was the best team, this is the best individual player. I'm going to send him out first. But anyway, Cantlay and Schauffele. Going to send them out second. Same kind of concept as with Thursday afternoon alternate shot. On Friday 4-ball, which is Adam Scott's worst format, but again, I only sat everybody just one time and only one time. So I'm going to put Adam Scott with the other rookie, Mito Pereira, with the same concept of with Cam Davis, kind of, stabilizing a little bit, because you got to think that Mito Pereira is going to be a little bit nervous. The guy has game. He should have won the PGA. So he's got the game. I think Adam Scott and him will pair well together. They're going to just have to make some putts, because this group, Scott can hit it a decent ways. Mito's not very long, so these two are going to be scrapping. They're going to have to scrap for their win against whoever the USA threw out there. So same reasoning as Thursday. I'm going to put Scott with a rookie, have that stabilizing feature there. The third session, I go Finau and Cameron Young in a best ball format. Both of these guys will go get birdies in bunches. So I'm going to send them out and just keep the pedal to the metal against the internationals. If Finau and Young both blow up on a hole, okay, you lost a hole. All right, you're going to come back and Cam Young's going to threaten to eagle a hole. Tony Finau has hit his iron so well he's going to stick it to 4 feet. Come beat us. In a normal situation, if I were really, really captaining, I would keep hot players together. Like if Morikawa and Cameron Young won on Thursday, I'd keep them together. But again, as I mentioned in the intro, I tried to move guys around, not give them the same partner with some obvious exceptions, just to get a feel for who might play together, who might not, what formats might fit, all that stuff. So that's why partners change. But anyway, Finau and Young, they both go low. They both hit it a mile. I'm going to keep the pedal to the metal. I'm going to come at your throat. I'm going to try to just demolish you in the first 2 days. For the internationals, Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith, two countrymen, their games actually align pretty darn well. Connors kind of plods along. His iron play, it speaks for itself. He needs to make some putts, but who doesn't? Taylor Pendrith, he's been playing very well. For as much as Finau and Homa have been world beaters, hot lately, Tom Kim and Pendrith just as hot. They really are. Taylor Pendrith, after his injury, was in fuego. So if I'm Trevor Immelman or I'm the captain of the internationals, I'm thinking, yeah, you've got two guys that are playing really well right now. So do I. And I've got a very stabilizing, very neutral is not the right word. I've got a very high floor guy in Corey Connors that I know is not going to blow up in a round. He's gonna be able to keep in it. He might lose a hole, but he's generally going to be in a hole, and that allows Pendrith to attack, which is his best, like Davis. So that's my thinking on there. Fourth session, Friday, Spieth and Thomas again. This is not their best format together, but I'm still putting them out there, assuming that they're going to play at least 2 sessions together. So I've got them here. Again, very solid team. Now this is where I am doing a little bit of projecting. If I were really, really captaining, I think this is the best setting or best team that you can put forward if you're the internationals. Sung Jae and Tom Kim. You've got, no language barrier. Their 2 games line up great. Sung Jae's not a long hitter. Tom Kim's not a long hitter. And even though this is for ball, they just play such similar styles of golf, and they're not going to get rattled. Sung Jae's probably going to walk around with a smile on his face the entire weekend, which is going to be great. Probably because he just doesn't understand what the crowd is chanting at him. But I really think this is probably the best team that the internationals can form. So I'm gonna put them together again. I'm hoping that Connors and Pendrith pull out a win. That team's strong. I'm hoping Mito and Adam Scott have Adam Scott's helping Mito get his feet wet. Davis has gotten his feet wet. I'm hoping this combination works out. I need to feel really good about a point. And if I were the captain of the Internationals, putting this team out, I would feel good about a point. To round out Friday best ball, I'm going with Homa and Kisner. Max Homa, no explanation needed. He's on fire. I also don't mind him going last. He's been on the lead, and he's been on the lead recently. He knows how to handle a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety, sitting on these leads where you don't play right away in the morning. So I don't mind throwing Homa out there last in the group. I know he has the demeanor to be able to handle that. I'm going to put him with Kisner. Kisner's just a plodding along, steady. He's not going to take himself out of the hole. I think both of these guys, and not only that, they just both have calm demeanors. Like, if one of them makes a long putt, they might fist pump, but they're not going to go crazy the way like Billy Horschel would, or Justin Thomas would. They're just very calm. The situation's not going to get over their heads. They're going to be able to stay in it. So I really like that pairing in the terms of 4-ball. And then for the Internationals, I'm going to put two guys who have some President's Cup history with them, or at least have played it. Hideki, this is his best format. And again, you don't really have to worry about the language barrier just because it's best ball. You're kind of doing your own thing. Siwoo plays a different game than Hideki. They can just kind of walk along, work on whatever each one's going to work on, and you're banking that Hideki's going to do Hideki things. And I'm also putting Hideki out last. Hideki has health issues. This gives you all morning to figure out, is Hideki healthy enough? Does he need some more training time, like loosen up the shoulder, loosen up the neck? That's why I specifically put him last, for that reason. All right, moving ahead to Saturday morning. I think the first set is foursomes. I could be wrong, but Saturday alternate shot. I'm going to switch it up a little bit if I'm Team America. I'm going to switch it up by going Burns and Horschel first, because they are the best alternate shot team, I think. Just rerun it back from the first day. And then for the Internationals, I'm going to go Munoz and Pereira, put the two South Americans together. Both of them have now gotten their feet wet. They're both rookies, but they are rookies together. Their games actually line up fairly well. Let me show you for alternate shot. Highlight Mito here. I'll highlight Munoz here. Well, I thought I was going to. Apparently I was going to do something else. Munoz, Pereira. So both of these players here, they struggle with the 75 to 100 proximity, but they're both good in the 100 to 125. So on these long par fives, they'll be able to play to each other's strengths. Right? Just lay back. Play to our strength of having wedges. They're both similar in terms of off the tee and strokes gained approach. Now, Munoz is a much, much better scrambler than Mito has been. And their putting can be pretty bad. That's what you worry about, but everybody's going to have to make putts. So I was more focused on like wedge play, if they line up, off the tee and approach. Now, Mito, him having a scramble would be an issue, but at least you have Munoz who can, if they are wayward. I just like the way that team's set up. So I will go with Munoz and Pereira to start out Saturday alternate shot. Going out second, I go Scotty Sheffler and Jordan Spieth. So I switch up the Spieth and Thomas Again, partly because I'm giving everybody a session off. But I'm putting the two Texas boys together. I'm giving Thomas this session off. I think Spieth and Sheffler will feed well off of each other's energy or momentum, however you want to phrase that. Like I said, the two Texas boys, I think they would be a pretty good team together in alternate shot. Spieth has increased his distance, so Scheffler's not going to have to change his yardages too much. And everybody knows about Jordan Spieth and his wedge play. Scheffler's a good enough putter. Spieth's going to get the ball or going to get the rock rolling. I think this is a pretty solid team. I'm really excited about this team if I am the international captain. I've been kind of saving this one. These two players don't seemingly have a lot in common. Cam Davis is a huge, big hitter. Bezadenhout, kind of plods along, can get wayward off the tee and is not long, but his short game's good. But I want you to see they're actually fairly close or fairly common in a few different things. Both can putt. Cameron Davis is 5th in this field. Christian Bezadenhout's 10th. So if they get hot with the putter, nothing is as great of an asset in match play as putting. And these two can putt it. Their wedge play is similar. Like Bezadenhout would have to lay back more than likely on the par 5s, which Cam Davis is fine with. I know it doesn't look like he is on the 75 to 100, but just lay him up to the 100 to 125. He's the best in the field at it. Off the tee and approach, Cam Davis hits enough fairways, long enough. This is where Bezadenhout has struggled. So you're pairing the guy that's long and the irons with the scrambler, putter, and Davis holds his own in that department as well. So I really like that construction of a partnership for the internationals. Session 3 on Saturday, alternate shot. I go Kisner and Morikawa. Again, two demeanors that are just even keeled. They're not going to get too high, too low. And these two play such similar style games. Yeah, they're probably not going to be able to go for any par 5 and 2, but they're going to be playing into their own comfort zone. By playing their game, they're playing in their partner's comfort zone. So I think that's a pretty good match in terms of play style with Kisner and Morikawa. And again, I'm going to put the two Koreans together, especially in a format like alternate shot. You just got to be able to communicate. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to go KH Lee and Siwoo Kim. KH Lee, this is by far his best format. So I wanted to make sure I played him in both of the foursomes. And then to round out the Saturday alternate shot, again, Cantlay and Schauffele. I'm going to save them for the end to punctuate the day, just like I did with Spieth and Thomas on day 1. I'm going to punctuate the session with Cantlay and Schauffele. And then for the internationals, I'm going Scott and Pendrith. Again, their games kind of align fairly well. Scott can move it a little bit off the tee. He's been putting fairly well. Both of them are decent enough in the sand if they get themselves in trouble. They're not the best at scrambling when it's difficult, but you see Taylor Pendrith 3rd and off the tee, 8th in approach, so he's going to be helping Adam Scott in one of his weaker areas, and Pendrith is good with his wedges. So he can help Adam Scott at least here, and Pendrith has enough length to put an approach shot in the 75 to 100 if you can't reach in 2, which you should be able to. So that is a pairing that doesn't seem like it would click, but by the numbers, that's all I can go by. By the numbers, I think it would work. So I'm going to put Scott and Pendrith out to round out the day or round out the session of alternate shot. Move to Saturday, I think afternoon. It could be reversed. It could be 4-ball foursomes, but We'll move to Saturday afternoon, or at least the Saturday best ball. This is where I'm really, really changing it up. I mean, I changed it up a little bit. Sheffler, Spieth, Kissner, Morikawa, all that stuff. This is where I'm really going to change it up. If I'm the Americans, and again, I'm going through this assuming we're tied. Again, I don't think it's going to be, but I'm assuming we're tied. There's going to be a lot of tension, a lot of emotion. Well, there are 2 or 3 players that jump out to me on the American side when you think about emotion. I'll put 2 of them together and I'm going to let them feed off each other. Billy Horschel and Justin Thomas. Boy, those two. Now it could get. I think they're both professional enough, good enough to where if things go a little bit sideways, they're not going to let it snowball. But you let them get on just a little bit of momentum, and they're going to cruise. They're going to just light a fire and go. I really like the idea of an amped up Billy Horschel and Justin Thomas together. As the internationals, again, assuming that I am tied, didn't think I'd be in this position. I'm going to go out and try to get this tournament. I'm going to put my best team forward. I'm going, you know what? We didn't think we'd be here, but you let us hang around long enough. Now you're going to get punished for it. Sung Jae and Tom Kim, again, in 4-ball. Match 2, I'll go Kevin Kisner and Cameron Young. Again, this is more of the even-keeled demeanor, like I did with Kissner and Morikawa, like I did with Young and Finau. Like, just even demeanor. I can't imagine those two getting rattled with anything. Kevin Kisner, again, going to play his game, plod along, get his pars, roll in a putt or two, let Cameron Young be Cameron Young, just fire at pins, hit as far as he can. I like the idea of that team. Saturday afternoon 4-ball, I'm going to put Bezuidenhout and Pereira together. This is all predicated around the short game and the putting. It's this team. As much as I was, kind of excited about the Bezuidenhout Davis and the Pendrith and Scott, this one worries me. Bezuidenhout Pereira, but their games seem to line up like they're not going to be able to go for any par 5 in 2, so they're going to be playing similar style games, which is fine in 4-ball. But this team would worry me a little bit in terms of an international captain. Why did I put them together? Well, again, I'm forcing myself to sit everybody one session, and I'm switching partners around. Match 3 of Saturday 4-ball. I've got Finau and Morikawa together. Same kind of deal with Morikawa and Young. Give him a long hitter. Let Morikawa play his game where he is more of a bogey avoider, and let Finau just do Finau things. Hit it far. Try to eagle the par 5s. Take advantage of the length, etc., etc. I'm going to put Connors and Munoz together. As much as I was a little off on Bezuidenhout and Pereira, like, these two are similar in a good way in terms of neither of them are going to take themselves out of the hole. Munoz is a bogey avoider. Connors is about even in terms of birdies and bogeys, but Connors plays tough courses as well. I mean, you look at his track record in WGCs, in majors, like he's a premier player now in the world. So neither of them are going to take themselves out of the hole. They're going to force their opponent to beat them, and you could squeeze out a match like that. You can get a point out of that, especially if one of the two start rolling the rock, and that's all it is in match play. And then to round out this session, I'm going to go Max Homa and Scotty Sheffler, arguably the hottest golfer in the world right now, with the number 1 golfer in the world. And I'll put him, and for the internationals, I've got Hideki, again, last in the day to just make sure, he's healthy. He gets all the physio, all the things he needs to be 100%. I'm going to put him with KH Lee. Again, the language barrier, not as big of an issue in 4-ball. KH Lee, this is his worst format, so I'm going to pair him with who I think's probably best or second best player on the team, arguably with Sungjae, and this is Hideki's best format. So I could see Hideki absolutely carrying a team to a point, a partnership to a point. That is how I have set up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now we get to a little bit of a fun part. Singles. This is where I'll clarify. A couple of these are just matches I want to see, but there is an overall strategy to it, and I'll go through it. But again, I approach this as if the squads are tied heading into singles. So, I start out like I have every session as the Americans. I came out Thursday. I tried to punch you in the mouth. 4-ball. I'm trying to punch you in the mouth with the number one player. Punch you in the mouth with what I think is probably the best alternate shot duo in Burns and Horschel, at least by the Zurich Classic. And then bring out the emotion of Horschel and Thomas. This is singles. This is match play. I'm going to punch you in the mouth. I'm throwing out Mr. Match Play himself. I'll throw out Kevin Kisner. Beat him. Beat him. I don't think you can. I'm going to get this point right from the start of the game, right at the start of the day. For the internationals, we're quite green in terms of not just President's Cup, but like match play. We're green. Cam Davis hasn't played it. Tom Kim, KH Lee, Mito, Taylor Pendrith. These guys have not played the Dell match play even. But I'm going to throw somebody out there that I know won't get rattled. He's very hot right now. And while Kisner will never be intimidated by the length, Taylor Pendrith, in a match play format, that length is going to have to make Kisner think a little bit. Assuming Pendrith's on his game, he's going to be able to reach these par fives where Kisner might not be able to. And if Kisner falls down one or two, he's going to have to start pressing, and that's not Kevin Kisner's game. So that's the thought process behind sending Taylor Pendrith out first. Depending on who the Americans sent out, I would have guessed, if I'm Trevor Immelman, Sunday singles, I'm thinking it's probably like Kevin Kisner, Scotty Sheffler, maybe Billy Horschel, like these maybe even Jordan Spieth, like these premier match play guys. And that's why I'm throwing Taylor Pendrith out there first. To back them up, I'm going to go with the rookie Cameron Young. Get him out there, feed him a little confidence. Hopefully he's played well with Kisner the day before, had some success with Morikawa. Let him get out running for the internationals. I'm going to start sending out my best players. It doesn't matter if we get to this point if we've already lost. We need to put some of our better players out there. So I'm going to put Corey Connors out there second, try to secure 2 points right off the bat. This is where it gets interesting. And both of these players deserve to be here, all that stuff. But you look at their singles records, they're not very good. And one player in particular has never shown that he is good at singles match play because he has a limited sample. But as captain of a team, I know that I have weak spots, especially in singles where they have to play. So it's about where I can, quote, hide them. And I'm going to go ahead and get one player hidden out of the way. And that's my thinking on both of these players. So for each team. It might be a little bit of a shock who the U.S.'s hidden player is. Probably not for the internationals. So, match 3 of singles. Bezadenhout and Spieth. Again, Bezadenhout. He is 0-5-1 career at the Dell match play, and that's all I have to go on. He's not been a good match play singles player, so I'm trying to, quote, hide him in a spot in the day where, yes, every point's valuable, but it's early enough to where the team can come back, and I've surrounded him or led him by two very solid players to start. Jordan Spieth's different in the sense that in international singles play, Jordan Spieth is 0-6-1. He has never played singles well in an international style competition. Now his Dell match play record is fantastic, but if the trend continues, he's going to struggle, and that's why I've got him, quote, hidden. Match 4, and this is something that I should lead. Like for the U.S., I've got 4 guys who I feel very, very confident in: Kisner, Horschel, Sheffler, and the guy that I'll save for last. But with 4 guys that I'm extremely confident in terms of singles match play, I can essentially break the match play into 4 different sections and, let them be kind of like a captain of the other 3, I mean. So I can break it down into 4 sessions, really, that I feel pretty good about for the USA. Internationals is quite different, but for the 4th match, the, quote, captain or the rock, the foundation of the second group of 3 is Scotty Sheffler. He's coming off the win in the Dell match play this year. Number 1 player in the world. I'm going to have him be the rock of the second group, especially following, what I'm deeming a hidden, trying to hide the player. Like, I'm trying to get this win, thinking I'm probably going to get a loss. So I'll go Scotty Sheffler. The internationals, still, you've got more places to, quote, hide players. So I'm just go with KH Lee. There's no really rhyme or reason. I just need to throw guys in places, and I have a reason for where some of the bigger names are. So there's a definite reason of why Scotty Scheffler's here. Match 5, we're going to go Sam Burns. And now I'm going to bring out the dog. I'm going to bring out Hideki. I've got 2 hidden, or 2 what I think are going to be very difficult matches, probably losses. I can't accrue too many losses, especially in a row. The Americans are going to run away with the momentum on their home turf. I got to put a stop to it. Hideki is a very good international singles player. He's 2-1-1. He's beat some of the better players that the Americans have sent out there. Like, this is my stopper. This is, all right, no further. The bleeding stops now. So I'll throw Hideki out number 5. 6th match, Tony Finau and Siwoo Kim. I'm much more confident if I'm American, sending Tony Finau out. Like, Siwoo is fine, but he doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence, but he doesn't make you worry like these 2 would. It's just fine. Number 7, we start going in the back half. Admittedly, this is a matchup that I just kind of want to see. Thomas, who has struggled in international singles play, going up against the young gun Tom Kim. I think that would be a fun matchup to see in terms of singles match play. It's kind of all there is to that one. Again, I admit a couple of these are pretty selfish. I just want to see the matchup. Number 8, Max Homa and Mito. Right now, we have not had our stable player yet in Group 3, if I'm the American side. So he's coming up here. Mito, again, kind of like the KH Lee, I got to throw these guys in here somewhere. So Mito fits here. Now, match 9. This is the foundation of the 3rd group for the Americans, Billy Horschel. What should I say? I mean, he's won the Dell match play. He's runner-up the Dell match play. And just like with Hideki, I'm thinking I've got, hopefully Tom Kim squeezes out a win. Maybe I get a half a point from Siwoo or Mito. But again, just like the Hideki thought, all right, I got to put a stop to it. The momentum stops now. I'm throwing out my best player, Sungjae. I got to have it. I got to have this point. So that's a very fun matchup to see Billy Horschel and Sungjae. Number 10, we'll go Colin Morkalla and Sebastian Munoz. Number 11 would be Xander and Cam Davis. This would be a fun match to watch. I'd be excited for that one. But, again, I've assumed that we are all square throughout this whole process. So if it comes down to the last match, and I need 1 point to win the President's Cup, these are the 2 players that I would put in that scenario. And it's going to shock you on one of them. But I'm going to put Adam Scott for the Internationals. He's got the experience. He's the stable force. He is the player captain, if you will. Like, he's probably the team leader. He's not going to get rattled. He's got years and years of baggage of all these losses in the President's Cup. You don't think that weighs in on him? If he has a chance to win the President's Cup and cement his legacy as an international player, I think he rises to the occasion. I think as the team leader of the Internationals, and I say team leader because he can communicate. Like, Hideki and Sungjae are probably the better, like the best players and probably the team leaders in that regard. But at least in terms of experience and knowledge, all that stuff, with the match on the line, give me the guy who's also won a match play tournament. Give me Adam Scott. For the Americans, if it's all on the line, Patty Ice. Patty Ice. Ice in his veins. I know he'll step up. If he has to make a putt, he will. And if the President's Cup's on the line, that's who I want. So there is a look at the captain's rosters. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun thinking about it. If I were the captain, going through who I think plays well with who and who meshes and all that stuff. It was a fun little, thought process, experiment, and all that stuff. I'll leave it here on the Sunday singles, but I have a few predictions I need to make. The top international point scorer, don't think it's going to be a surprise. I'm going to say Sungjae because I'm very confident he's going to play in all five sessions. So not really going on a limb there. I'm going to say top international scorer is Sungjae. For the Americans, honestly, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. Like, Cantley and Schauffele have a good chance to play in all 5 sessions. Justin Thomas has a good chance to play in all 5 sessions. I'm going to step on a bit of a limb here, and there's no guarantee he plays all 5 sessions. But I'm going to go with Colin Morkalla as the American top scorer. My thinking is I think he fits well with a number of different guys that are on the U.S. roster, and his game, whether it's for ball or for some, it fits. He doesn't do anything fantastic except for the irons. His irons are always fantastic, but he's not bad at anything. Like, his distance isn't good, but he at least finds the fairway, which is never going to hurt you in a international team competition. So I'll step out on a bit of a limb, and I'll say Colin Morkalla is the U.S. top scorer. Now, the official prediction, there are 30 points available in the President's Cup. In 2020, for the Ryder Cup, I went contrarian. The U.S. was heavily favored. I said that I thought the Euros had a pretty good chance. I think I even picked the Euros to win just because the Americans had never been there. So a lot of these Europeans had played in the Ryder Cup, had success, all that stuff. Well, one record-setting performance later by the Americans, and I looked like a complete idiot. I zigged when the overwhelming majority of people in the world zagged and just thought the U.S. would win. I zigged. I was wrong. I've learned my lesson. As much as I like the idea of what the internationals have done, bringing in these younger guys, Taylor Pendrith, Cam Davis, Mito, Tom Kim, they're going to take their lumps. But it's going to set them up well in the future. But you got to take your lumps. This American side is loaded. I think Davis Love did a fantastic job of constructing the lineup. Kevin Kisner has played the President's Cup before. Billy Horschel, even though he's a President's Cup rookie, his resume more than speaks for itself with the singles match play. The Zurich Classic team with him and Burns has performed very well. I just like the way Davis Love has constructed this roster, Cameron Young, all this kind of stuff. So, the end score, tally for both teams, I will have being 18.5 to 11.5. And I'm being a little bit conservative. Like, I think the internationals might surprise, get a couple of points that you might not expect. But overall, I see this as an overwhelming American win. I went contrarian at the Ryder Cup, bit me. I'm not going to go contrarian here. I just think the Americans are way too talented. So that is going to do it for the Captain's Roster show. In the comments, please tell me, what did you agree with? What would you have done different? What strategy did you think about if you were going to do this exercise? Who are your predictions for the outright President's Cup? Do you think Sungjae is going to be the top international scorer? Do you think it's Colin Morkalla, Xander Schauffele? Put in some of your predictions in the comments. Would love to hear about that. And then, as always, let me know how the week goes for you in terms of wagering. Your outright wagers and your DFS. Like I said, I'm not making any outright wagers. I'm solely focused on DFS. But let me know how that goes as well in the comments. But thanks for tuning in and watching and listening. P jumping in chat. I hope you all enjoyed the show. I have fun kind of taking a step back, relaxing a little bit, doing an interesting thought exercise, especially in a team format like this. So hopefully you all enjoyed. For all of the wagers you have made this week for the President's Cup, for all of the DFS contests you have entered this week at the President's Cup, for this weekend and every weekend, may all your bets be profitable.